This is AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, an almost regularly scheduled open discussion on audio and video in higher education. We'll sound off about our most brilliant ideas, our dumbest mistakes, and everything in between. And because this conversation will almost certainly go off the rails at some point, we'll end up covering just about everything else. And now, the AV SuperFriends. I pushed the wrong button on that one. This is not off the rails. No, it bothers me when I do that. Hold on. I'm going to fix something.
Oh, you want to fix it in real time? Nobody will know.
We're going to do it live.
We're doing it live. Welcome.
Stop that without a fade. I'm going to do this. It's AV SuperFriends First Friday Live.
See? It's branding.
Often impromptu
It's all
show
about
streamed
branding.
live to the socials
Stick to
and
the script,
usually on the
Chris.
correct day, the first Friday of the month.
Okay.
We've collected 2 or 3 topics, news stories, product announcements, social media posts, or email listserv messages. If you are on 15 or less, or your money back. Offer not valid in some states.
Okay.
The show starts now. Now it started like a minute and a half ago.
Yeah, well, people are coming in. People are getting their
They'll figure it
seats.
out.
They're getting comfortable. Yeah, it's fine.
So yes, it
no
is
lunch.
First Friday Live. Mark and I are in studio. Justin is on the road at where
You know,
a
I
lot
was
of
just
people are gonna
thinking-
be next week.
You know, I was just thinking when you guys were tooling around with that intro,
What's up?
Just tooling
this
around.
might be the first. This might be the first podcast from Orlando about Infocom for 2025.
So what
ever.
you're saying is this is some sort of exclusive, the first time this has ever happened.
Today.
It's the first one this year.
Oh,
I don't know
Would
of
you say
any
this is
other.
the first, well, this is like the first time in the world that in 2025 somebody's actually podcasting live from Infocom. So this is like a world exclusive.
World exclusive. Go ask somebody.
2020.
Just find somebody to validate it on the floor for us.
Everybody looks really busy and they look like they're yin
They
yang.
always look busy. That's the problem. They're like, but they're not. They're just sitting around.
Well, you got 3 guys watching one guy work right there, and then you have
Right?
another
He's
guy
the boss.
Yeah.
looking up at somebody else working on the lift.
He's looking down. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a walkabout while we're podcasting, and we're going to try to find these windows into the show floor.
It's gonna be nice.
It's upstairs. You have to go out and look over. All right.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
So
we're
Justin,
gonna-
let me run
Escalator.
our little jingle jangle for your world exclusive here.
Here we go.
Oh, we got a jingle?
AV SuperFriends World Exclusive.
Wow.
You know how much it costs for us to make that for this show?
Dude.
That was played live. There's a band right over here.
Yes.
Then you have this guy. Can
They're
I
getting
flip
paid
it in time?
scale. Yeah.
That
He's
guy's
out there.
sleeping. He's sleeping.
Been waiting for his flight.
Yeah.
Still there.
Can't get out. Thunderstorms.
So yes, while Justin is touring us around the convention center, and he'll get a sneak
What's
peek
up,
of the
Brad?
show floor and
Come
all
on.
the fun stuff going on down there.
Hey, there's Brad Malone. He teaches project management.
Brad
You just gotta-
Malone.
It's Brad Malone.
You're live.
We're going to run into everybody up here.
That's right.
Anyway.
And I, without any sort of compensation here, I will fully endorse Brad's course, his 3-day course on project
Hey.
management for AV. It's fantastic.
It's legit. Seriously.
Just go ask Brad questions.
do it.
Do whatever he says. There.
Yeah.
Ask for a template.
He does provide you lots of templates during that course. Lots of things. A lot of which I've hacked apart and I still use to this day, like 9 years later. So.
Point. Just
Hey.
go get the template. That's all you need.
He won't bullshit you. He's actually teaching a course, half-day course on Tuesday I'm taking because I've never taken his course. Well,
You've never
I
taken
have
the
once.
3-day? Oh, it's great.
I'm always teaching 3 days. Bullshit. I can't teach and take a class.
Just keep telling people you'll be back in 5 minutes and just keep leaving.
Okay.
They might take
all
my-
right, so
Yeah.
today's show, First Friday, we'll do about 10, 15 minutes on this. We picked three stories here, a couple of 3 stories. 3 stories
A few of them.
about technology in general and education and all that fun stuff. But then also we do have some AV stuff we'll argue about. Our first one comes from Ed Scoop. Let's see if I can put this out onto. Wait,
Put it in
let me do
there.
this.
In the comments.
wait. Yeah, but
Yep.
I'm
Do
not
it.
sure it's going to work.
Try it.
Okay. Hold on. We're doing this. There's only 3 of us here, so this is
Yeah,
it's a
learning it live.
multi-dollar operation.
That's right.
It's really only 2 of you here. I'm just kind of walking
Right. You're just
around
along
and-
for the ride.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if that link worked, but we'll see. I think it went out to YouTube's only.
Well,
Eh.
it went out to there. So if you're watching on there, there it is. So,
Type that in. Good luck.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right. So it
That
says
links
some
look like garbage.
So the headline for this article is some recent grads aren't happy about the AI voice at their graduation ceremony. And so Northeastern University in Boston, they did the traditional commencement walk, and they read off all the names. This is a college tradition going back decades. But this year they used some software to load that in there. Because I don't know about you guys. When I walked, it was like you hand somebody the card, and they wanted you to spell it phonetically.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you write out your name, but they wanted you to very clearly spell it phonetically. So it's not spelled correctly. It was spelled so that you want it pronounced a certain way. So when you get up there, they read off your name. And it's always this big concern of, do we have the right person reading and the right person? Did we get it synced up just right?
But they spent a year coordinating that.
Yeah, it takes months. So this is at Northeastern University. They had a software application called Tassel do AI voices, and the students did not like it because it sounded like a weird AI voice, complete with all the mispronunciations and all that stuff. And they're a little bent out of shape, saying, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for us, so what the heck?
I'm sure that software was free too, right? They didn't pay anything for it.
No, it probably wasn't free. It was
yeah, well, I'm right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they paid for something that was worse than just somebody doing it.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's bad enough to hate it. But I mean, there's always that tradition that, like, as much as you plan and you want to have the phonetic pronunciation and all that in your card, like, it's still going to go weird. So there's still that human aspect of it. And that's like part of the culture. Is this like really removing that whole part of it and just injecting this AI for the sake of AI? Like, was this needed? Like, did we really need to have AI pronunciations for names? Like, I don't know. Like,
or what if it's more simple than that? What if the guy that did it, or the girl, or whoever, just quit on them? They're like, oh, what are we going to do? Who's going to announce this?
Won
like,
the lottery, and
announce it.
they never came back to work.
Like, nobody's going to announce this. So we got to hire a
Mm-hmm.
computer to do it, I guess.
Maybe, I guess, we don't know the full context, but is it necessary? Like, do we, like, is that just the beginning? I mean, obviously it is. Like, you're going to see just this thing run out everywhere. Anywhere people are announcing anything, it's probably going to be AI related soon. I mean, shit, we could be AI related. Who knows at this point?
There's an interesting comment here. I do appreciate the response. Sorry, I'm trying to post this in all the social places for everybody. Here we go. All right.
We got comments. Okay.
It says, let's see. This choice registered as disrespectful, lazy, and frankly on brand for Northeastern, a university that has prioritized its stature as a technology-forward university at every possible turn. So this dude was a little salty.
Seems it. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
He might have got a C in accounting or something.
Maybe.
Let's see. This is somebody who's graduating from the School of Journalism and was upset that they didn't make an effort really to make their graduation experience everything it could be. So
I mean, I do a lot, and you can refer to another episode we talked about the behind the scenes on commencement and all that. And there are real dollars and cents that are accounted for in here. I'd be curious to find out if there was a perceived savings here. Like, what was it? What were they solving for by doing this? And if it was the person didn't show up, that's one thing. But
but you'd have to have this ready weeks in advance.
Exactly.
This has not planned out.
Yeah, right. This is not a spur of the moment thing.
And so they saved.
Hey guys,
percentage here. What's up? What do you got for us?
I've got some breaking news.
Oh,
I got some breaking news. You ready?
Yep.
Do you want to sing along?
The first world peak at the show floor. Hold on.
Oh, through that door?
Look at that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Well, if you go up to that balcony I keep telling you to go to, instead of downstairs, you can look on the floor.
Dude, I went to the stairs and I couldn't get through.
Oh, they shut
keep
down.
Keep riding the Eskimo-molators all the way up.
They don't go all the way up.
If they don't move, they're called stairs. Just walk up the stairs.
I tried the stairs.
You got to go out to the main lobby, get on the Eskimo-molators that go all the way up to like the third floor. There's that little cafe that's named after some dude. And next to it is a walkway that goes to the back entrance, and you can stand there in the glass and look down on the show floor.
So I went to that lecture hall all the way at the very end and dead end. So I'm coming up this way to this escalator.
Go out towards the street and go up the Eskimo-molators.
I am here.
There's a way to get.
I already did.
If you had to go, if you were parked
I will drive
out back
down there right now.
Yeah, if you're parked out back and you have to go around to get out to your car, that's the path you need to go, wherever that is.
So, Justin, the way you're walking out, take a right and go out towards the main street.
Okay.
Don't get locked out, though. Do not make the mistake of going out a door that's locked and you can't get back in because you're just out in the wild.
No, all the shit's open right
Jungle
now.
out
Everybody's
there.
like
Yeah.
walking around. Yeah, it's all open. There's nothing's locked.
Mhm.
I bet one of these doors. I bet one of these
might
doors
just
is
walk
just
out on the
open.
floor.
There's no security.
I
Pick
was
up,
gonna
a,
say,
pick
just
up
go-
a
just
box.
go out to
Pick
the
up a
floor.
box like you're a Steve door
Yeah.
and just walk out there.
This is, hey
All right,
man,
we
I'm
go
just,
up
I'm
there.
just driving for Uber trying to deliver this thing. So
All right, here
Anyway,
we go. So
okay.
I've got this coming up. So I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go out here.
yeah,
I'm gonna go up those escalators, come back around the backside.
lovely.
I got you.
Okay, yeah, push that box right there. Nobody will say a word.
Just push that road case through the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
We're working it
All
out.
right. So let's
we'll
go
check
to,
back
go
on
to
Justin when he
article,
gets closer to the floor.
Breaking. Yeah,
Article
breaking
2
news
here
again
comes
later.
from Article 2 comes from the Wall Street Journal, which I'm not going to sign into, so I'm using an archive link. And it is titled "America's College Towns Go from Boom to Bust." And as many state universities lose more students each year, failing local economies economies are. This is not even written well. Failing local economies they once fostered. Whatever. Failing the. I missed a word.
Failing the yes.
Failing the local economies they once fostered. Okay. They're specifically talking about Macomb, Illinois, home of Western Illinois University. As the university shrinks and the town is built around the university, the town itself is suffering, and it's kind of creating a potential economic crisis of these small college towns.
Yeah, there's like nothing left. It's all just kind of like once
Yeah,
once
the
it goes
whole
away. what do you
economy
do?
was. Yeah, the whole economy was revolved around that one college.
right.
Right.
And
So just like the Cleveland economy is based on LeBron James, when he left, Cleveland closed. They just shut it down.
shut the whole town down. But it's like secondary services, all that other stuff, like all the supporting pieces around that. Like
They're called bars, Mark. You don't have to
Whatever, yeah.
make it all highfalutin.
it goes it suffers, right? And so then you end up having this bit of new ghost town Rust Belt phenomenon going on, and it's what happens here. And I think this is kind of just the larger commercial real estate issue that is the problem for a lot of higher education. Like, how are you going to do that? If there's less students and you're fighting over a dwindling pool, what are you going to do with all this capacity? What are you going to do with it, Justin? You're going to buy them? You're going to put Rexing Core in there?
No,
Expand?
so what we're doing is you rent out the space as like hotel office space, and then wish that somebody shows up.
You just put a price on it and take a loss? Just say, hey,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
we lost money on it.
Well, actually, it's really weird. It's kind of working because it wasn't really planned, but the K through 12 system in Warren County, Kentucky, is just exploding. Bowling Green's exploding, and so we have the county schools renting space on campus to have kindergarten, which is really weird for security and buses.
Yeah,
It's not on our main
logistical
campus.
problems.
Yeah, it's not on our main campus, on a south campus, which is less busy and not too many people are using it. Oh shit, here we go.
Do you
What's
think
this?
that was because they needed it, or was it like, were they lured in like, hey, we have space available if you want to expand, come over here?
Exactly.
Like, was it like which part
Yeah.
initiated that?
Well, we lost a bunch of the space opened up because we lost a bunch of programs, and people started like, "Hey, what's this space being used for?" And I guess somebody inquired about like, "Hey, can we rent this space?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure, you can give us money to use our existing space that's not doing anything."
Well, that's just it, right? And so it's a new revenue stream. Like,
Guys.
oh, well, we'll do it. Shh, be quiet.
Guys,
This is
guys,
you're in a top secret area now.
we're in trouble. Look at this.
No, it's a great place to go to get
Yes,
footage
you're in the
of
spot. Oh,
everything.
you're blacked out. Oh, you can't get there.
Wait. Hold on. There's one spot underneath. Hold on. Here you go.
You gotta- Here we go.
So can you see through the? No, can't see
Nope.
through the crowd.
Ah, man, they knew you were coming, Justin. They knew.
They thought through this shit, didn't they?
So now
Keep
you're
poking around,
gonna
you'll
just
figure it
go
out.
to the floor.
They'll figure it out. Check all those.
I'm gonna keep
windows.
walking. I'm gonna check them all.
Yeah.
There's probably one window somewhere. Like nobody's gonna walk all the way down here and see this one.
So, Mark, you live in a let's say it's a college town.
It's college
Because
town. here.
Corvallis is based around Oregon State University. It's the only reason Corvallis is really
Tell
there.
that to some of the people who've been here for a long time.
Well, I understand, but we,
Yeah.
being realists, we know.
Yeah.
Laramie, Wyoming, same thing. University of Wyoming is the core of the town. As much as there is this contentious relationship between the university and the city, which comes out and manifests itself in strange ways where, like, the city will say, the university has decided to close a city street. I'm like, The university applied to the city, and the city provided the permit for them to close it, but there's this, like, back and forth. It's constant. neither, and the city would not be as large as it is now without the university, and the university wouldn't be there without the city. So they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that in Corvallis? Are you seeing the town shrink and businesses close as university enrollment drops, or are we still kind of too early?
We have an open door, guys.
Honestly, not really. We haven't seen
Justin,
a lot
no
of that
smoking.
Constriction yet. That's behind the scenes, sir. You can't be there.
Yeah, now you go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going in there.
We haven't seen that kind of restriction yet, or constriction, Chris, where like we had wholesale population move out, like we percentages here, whatever it is. And so I don't think we have large swaths of building and secondary businesses really seeing it yet. I think the relationship between the city and the university has always been, I don't know, tenuous isn't the right word, but it always goes back and forth. Just people like in the city were like, oh, yes, this would be a great place to live if this university wasn't here. And it's like, this place wouldn't exist if the university wasn't here. Like, and so it's a really weird play on it. And then obviously people who live here and choose to buy houses right next to university because they see that that's a real estate investment, and then they get pissed that there's no parking on game day. It's like, what did you expect? You were moving.
There's all these kids walking around all the time. What's going on? Yeah, I get it.
And so, I don't know, but I think it's going to be a thing moving forward. I think we'll see the population kind of dip at some point. We'll see certain universities will make do better than others. I think anyone who's like and we're both in this scenario. We're both at a state flagship institution. Will probably be one of the last ones dramatically affected by this. But if you're in a small college town and you're at maybe there's a small private college there, small private university, or there's a small state university, especially a regional, you're at Northwestern, Eastern, Southern University of Chicagoland, Illinois, whatever. That's going to get affected first, or more, or sooner certainly than a big flagship institution. But it still will happen, and you'll start to see, oh, hey, such and such closed, or where did this go, or something like that. So. And you've seen that now. You're seeing some of those branch edge, a couple classroom here, smattering there, night class kind of things. Those ones are starting to kind of roll up. And I was curious, do we see the larger flagships being asked to come in and kind of like, hey, can you take these on, find these students, enroll them here? And does that work as an expansion for some, like and roll up in, or is it just like they're just going to cut and say, sorry, you're out?
No, I think you're going to, I don't know if it's going to be bigger universities. I think you're going to see the space be repurposed by private entities or business or storage or warehousing or something.
No, it's all storage.
I don't know.
Warehousing.
Warehouse. You can fit a lot of boxes in those lecture halls.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So, it's interesting to see it. I think you're seeing a lot more of it. I mean, I'm turning the news on this morning. We have programs that are getting cut out of different community colleges, nursing programs, and they're just like, sorry, we're closing. And
well,
what happens?
There's usually enrollment numbers tied to that. Yeah. In the sense where you have to stay above a certain threshold. So we're going through that now. At UW, there's a number of programs that are having to be cut or consolidated or whatever. And I will say, from the standpoint of, and I understand people affected by that, it's terrible when you either lose something you've been teaching in for 30 years, or the program that you were interested in studying it isn't going to be there anymore or whatever. But at the same time, the universities generally are very, let's say, accommodating for those sorts of program reductions where, hey, you have to drop below a certain threshold for a number of years in a row, and you have to maintain, that's the wrong way to phrase it, maintain below that threshold for like 3 or 4 semesters in a row or something. You're only graduating a certain number of students out of the program. So there's a lot of kind of boxes you have to tick before it gets to that point. So all that to be said, if it's gotten to that point, then it's been a trend. It's not like something that happened, oh, darn, this happened since January. Sort of.
So I will say, if you're in an organization, you find yourself being asked, like, hey, we're trying to get our arms around like cost for capabilities and understanding all that. That's where all this is going to start to land. You're going to know it's starting to come a little bit closer to home, because the institution is trying to grapple with how much capacity do we need to have, and what's that right balance. And I think that's kind of the root of what we've been balancing and talking about. Like, what is the right amount of technology deployment to enable teaching and learning spaces, and how much do you need? What's the sweet spot, and how does your kit align with that?
And it should definitely be based on that utilization of the spaces. Right. So do I need to build 25 new rooms, or do I need to just update these 12 because they're used more heavily? So.
And understand like your use and your numbers around that, and like how are you contributing to that data story? Because that's ultimately where what happens if you just keep burning through resources, that ultimately you end up in a ghost town.
All righty. So
Moving
some
on.
happy news there.
Yep.
Our final story comes from the oops, where did my links go? The final story comes from the commercial AV subreddit.
Put the paste it in there in the comments.
I gotta move all this stuff around. The article is, why is this not
Looking for your room? Yeah.
looking for
Show us something new, Justin. What do you got?
what's going on
What's
there,
the most
Justin?
exciting thing you can see right now where you are?
Vamp for like 30 seconds, Justin.
There's got to be something good there.
That guy. That guy's
guy.
exciting.
All right, let's see.
All right.
Okay,
good.
so this article is, or this I guess comment, this post is titled DSP supporting AI-based noise suppression for removing dynamic noises. And this is more of one of those questions, and we see these all the time. And somebody says, is there any DSP supporting AI-based noise suppression for removing dynamic noises like paper shuffling, keyboard typing, cup and plate movements, etc.? They said, while searching online, there's some good software that does it, but there's no hardware based. And then, of course, it gets worse when they said, our setup is H323 and SIP based. It's BYOD. So having it all AI based, the thinking is the DSP is removing all that noise because you can't rely on the end user devices. And let's just say big dog codecs are still
Roaming the
kind of-
earth.
well, I was going to say
They're
to
out there
them,
lost. Yeah.
the only tool they have is a hammer and everything looks like a nail. Let's just phrase it that way. So there are a number of these that do this, but Mark, you brought this up as a potential topic from the standpoint of like, do we really need to be doing this level of processing for all our video calls?
Right. I think is this a neat or a need to have thing? Like, there are several manufacturers who did some of that baked in DSP AI stuff in the name of this very thing. And to mixed success. Like, right, I've seen it and experienced it, and I don't know if they're doing it well or not. I think it's been kind of cool. Yeah, you're still going to hear some of that paper. You're still going to hear all those things. And on the show floor next week, my guess is you'll have lots of manufacturers saying, our DSP does all this stuff for us. It's just leveraging AI. It's taking all the noise out. Blah, 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 blah. That's our noise reduction. We have a special algorithm that we trained.
Patented AI algorithm.
Yeah, and that's going to be everywhere.
Look at this
But
crew. I got
buyer beware.
Cornwall and Watts, Jeremy L. Seltzer. Look at all these people in here. There's Cornwall with his hat.
Retired.
Right
With his hat.
Yeah.
With his hat.
Just getting it done. Keeping USB alive.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, we see this from Shure, we see it from Biamp, we see it from, well, I think QSys has talked about it. I'm not sure if they've mentioned AI specifically related to their audio processing, and now I probably have somebody very angry at me because I can't remember this stuff, but I don't know.
It's a block.
It's one of those things where, like, I think my concern is a lot of people assume this sort of thing, especially from a sales standpoint. Oh, it's got AI noise reduction. It will solve all the problems for the world's worst spaces. And no, unfortunately, it's not. You can't beat physics. So
It does
maybe
okay.
instead of it helps.
It's
certainly.
okay.
Yes, you're not wrong.
It's okay.
But maybe instead of a new DSP with AI noise reduction, maybe you treat the space or something. Maybe you can find a better way to spend those funds to improve that experience.
There's part of me that
it's not going to fix everything.
I want to know, like, how large is this room? Like, because there's a certain spot where, like, video conferences just fall apart, right? When your room is just
68
so
feet.
large and you're trying to ask too much and you have too many people who don't care to be there doing things like clamoring around and shuffling
Rattling all their
papers and all this stuff because they don't care to be there, right? And it's so providing video conferencing and collaboration capabilities, like, as it's this magical sprinkling secret sauce that makes everything work, like, that is not the way to go about it. And I think there is etiquette of, like, how you operate as a human in a space that does this goes a long way. And that's an example right there. Right?
I can't hear that. I've got AI in my. I got AI.
AI noise suppression on it.
Right. Well, that's the other part. Like, does that belong at the listener level and not the origination point?
It's a good point. And you could make the argument that probably should be at the listener
Maybe
side.
I
so
like
it's being
that sound.
processed
I really
locally,
want it.
not processed on the edge. Well, because what you can also do is if I turn that off, then I can hear the entire space. And there's a lot of cues you may miss on that. You may have somebody kind of muttering or somebody agreeing or somebody grumbling.
that stuff gets stepped on immediately, and then you're kind of
Right.
like it's like you're listening to NPR. It's just dead noise until someone's speaking, and that can kind of be distracting at times, especially people driving in their cars every now and then, because you can't. Are they still there? I don't know. Did they hang up? Did they get disconnected? I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say, Chris, is sometimes part of the experience is being in class or wherever you are and hearing and listening to other people or other noises that is happening around you. I mean, we're trying to deliver the in-person experience outward.
Turkey call?
And if we're taking, it sounds like a
It's
turkey call.
It's my Behringer personal monitor.
Yeah.
And if we're
also
taking
had
all of
my
that
calls.
out, everything's just gonna sound like NPR.
Yeah. Well, we've put on like microphones, like steering microphones, yeah, smart microphones, yeah. And we've had to go back at the request of faculty, and they've said, "Hey, can you like reduce the sensitivity of these microphones because they hear everything, and we can hear the thoughts of people in the back of the room. We really want to like dial that back a little bit."
Yeah, and it's funny the way I phrase that when we talk about how good these microphones are and how good the processing is on them as far as like enhancing so you can hear more. It's weird. On one side, they're trying to like make sure you can hear everything, and then on the back side, they're stepping on it to crush all that out. The way I phrase it is like these microphones can hear your hair growing, so be aware of it. Anything you say in this room may be piped out to the thousands of people who are
For better or worse. If you can hear it in the room, you can hear it in Zoom.
That's a good way to phrase it. And what works well in Teams too. If you can hear it on the Pleams, then you can hear it in Teams.
Yeah,
We'll
man.
workshop that one. We'll see.
Still working on that.
I like that.
When we ran into this a couple of years ago, where we had a room with some ceiling microphone arrays, they work great and they work very well. And we had some people who kind of did a sidebar and they went off to the side. They were physically away from the table and they were over there talking about something, and that was going all right through Zoom, and they got all bent out of shape. And it was like,
Well, the best part is like now with like all the AI stuff, all the stuff you don't want to necessarily hear, AI is like, oh, and it rattles it off real quick, and like chicken clucking or lawn being mowed over on the side, like all that stuff is transcribed.
Transcription stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
if you sidebar in a room, it may still hear you and transcribe it for
it
everyone.
transcribes it. It's great. You haven't seen that yet? Oh, it's the best.
I've not experienced that, no.
Yeah.
But good to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things. So the short answer to this post is yes. There's a lot of audio processors, audio processing hardware that has AI based noise suppression. I would not rely on that as the end all be all, the panacea to all of your audio challenges. And it may actually enhance, to your point, Mark. It may enhance things that you didn't want to be heard or didn't think were being heard. So tread lightly, I suppose.
Buyer beware.
But we're going to see a lot of it next week at InfoComm, where Justin is right now.
Justin, so are you done?
I'm here.
Do you need any more InfoComm other than what you just got? Do you feel like you got a good grasp of what's going on there?
That's as good as I can get on a show floor tour, because whatever. I've got
You have a meeting.
I just rely on. Yeah, I've got a meeting to go to with all these brainiacs in here that are way smarter than me. I got to
keep them
talk about faculty stuff or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
We did get
is
our
it hot out?
shirts. Shirts are black. It's a little humid. It's not actually hotter than Kentucky. I got off the plane. I was like, it's just a little bit more humid. It was pretty hot in Kentucky today. So
Excellent. All right. Well, good.
we're good.
Solid.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, Chris, let's get us out of here, man.
All right, we'll roll out this time. I'm gonna use the correct outro, which is this one. Make sure. Yes.
There goes
outro.
Brad Malone again.
Is he just wandering the halls? Is that what he's doing?
Well, we
Something
got
Justin's doing.
we got a meeting and like all the big time players are here. So it's everybody's
Big time
walking through.
player. Well,
Big time players.
big time in us now, Justin. All right. Well,
All right.
I
Well,
know.
we'll be at InfoComm all next week. We'll see many of you there, and if not, we're going to stream as much as we can. So
That's right.
enjoy.
See y'all
guys.
next week.
We did it. A short show just for the first Friday of the month, usually. Follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to join us next time. And you'll find the full slate of recorded podcasts and everything else we do at our website, avsuperfriends.com.